Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new iRacing AI NASCAR Cup Series career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are at Indianapolis, but it's not the road course. Yes, we are at the Indianapolis Oval, one of the few we'll call it quote-unquote fantasy tracks added on to the schedule. So we are going oval racing at Indy for the first time in a few seasons. Very excited for this one and seeing what it could potentially bring to us here today. As you can see, cars on the track here at the Brickyard now. So the Brickyard 400 is back. We do have the Indianapolis road course coming up in the next episode, so that has not gone anywhere. So it's a double header kind of deal, just on two separate weekends. Brickyard 400 at the Oval this weekend, and then the next race would be the road course here. Now, as we were underway in practice in this number 21 machine, and actually had some pretty good pace in this car. I did notice after practice that this car really is favorable in the short-term run, but in the long term, it kind of seems to fall off, so definitely gonna have to be a little bit careful with that. We have lost some points, unfortunately, recently in the playoff picture, so we are not in the most comfortable position coming into today. So we definitely, gotta stay on our guard a bit here and be smart and just be ready for whatever comes at our way, I guess you could say now. But practice was wrapping up and we were ready to get going here for qualifying. I love this camera angle right here because you can just see the cars whipping by down into turn one. It looks so cool. But qualifying now underway in this Brickyard 400 weekend. You can see a little bit of cloud cover there, but nothing too crazy there. So some pretty sunny and beautiful skies out here now down into turn one. It is such a honestly fun track to drive here. I've noticed in iRacing, I really enjoyed my time here, no matter whatever direction this race potentially goes. Suarez currently on pole, but we would put up a pretty decent lap. You're going to slowly see that here. This was us down into turn three now. Such a long and lengthy circuit, of course, Indianapolis Oval is, and you can see us going down into turn four. The car just felt hooked up. It wasn't tight. It wasn't too loose, at least in the short, term, like I was saying. So I was pretty happy overall with the way it was driving. I head down this front straightaway, and it's actually going to be across the line, P2. We would go P2 across the line, which is very, very impressive. I did not improve my second lap, but Chris Buescher did. Chris Buescher went pole, but we end up on the front row here in Indianapolis. We have had a pole this season, don't forget, at Gateway earlier in the season where we threw away a potential race victory and getting ourselves into the playoffs, but P2 on the grid. What a qualifying effort. Let's send it to Alan.
NASCAR visits one of the most historic racing venues on the planet today. We're in Indianapolis and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Alan Bailey with coverage on ARN. This track is over 100 years old, with over 100 years of racing history behind it. Most famously known for the Indianapolis 500 in the month of May, NASCAR has carved out its own history at the Brickyard. This is known as one of the crown jewels of NASCAR. Every driver dreams of winning at Indianapolis, but for a driver to win out here today, it would not only be career-defining, but life-changing for some. Which one of these drivers will enter into racing history? Let's find out.
Massive shout out to Alan Bailey, and as well a shout out to Davis Warren, as well. As you can see, these 2022 authentic paint schemes on the track. Now I was using a different collection for this one because Indy Oval did not have it in real life, so you can check out his collections from real life races from this year, last year, and years before, all down below. And Davis is also selling tickets to some races. Check down in the description below. The green flag is out here from this Indianapolis Brickyard 400. Chris Buescher, who's currently on the bubble. He is not inside the top 16, but here he is leading the way down into turn one. Could today be the day he wins himself into the playoffs, or maybe he gets himself in on points? We'll have to wait and see. You saw the stage length, so not a whole lot of laps here in stage 1, 12 laps, but at the same time, Indianapolis, that's a good chunk of time here. And then at the end of lap 30 is the conclusion of stage 2, going to the then end of lap 50 for the actual race itself. I don't know what it was about this race, about this track, but you could really hear the roar of the cars. It just, I don't know, something felt different, but in a good, different kind of way here in Indianapolis when you see these cars in this replay camera just whipping around here. Now down into turn 4, you can see starting P2, we settle into P2. Kyle Larson, the 2021 Cup Series champion and defending Cup Series champion in this timeline. This is still the 2022 season. Don't forget, we haven't hit 2023 yet, but don't worry. Got plenty of plans for 2023, and if you are still still paying attention at this very moment, I want you to comment down below what piece of silly season news do you want to hear sooner rather than later. Let me know down below if you want to hear who is going to replace Eric Almirola in the 10 car, or what team is going to switch to Dodge for season 2 for the 2023 season. Let me know down below. But we are continuing to try and close in here on the 17 of Chris Buescher. Myself and Chris pretty even in turn 1, 2, and 3, but turn 4 was a standout corner for this number 21 car that's really benefited us so far all weekend long, and you're going to see every time we exit turn 4. Look at this, 17 a little bit sideways there on the exit of turn 4, lap 5 of 55 to the inside of the 17 we go. We have not led laps in a while, since what, Gateway I think it's been, when we qualified on pole and won a stage as well. We do have 2 stage wins on the season, nearly some contact with the 17 right there, very close quarters, maybe a little bit of contact right there on the exit of turn 1, chasing the car up the track, but we are able to keep things civil here with this number 17 RFK machine. But you can see Buescher starting to slip and slide, and that's a common trend as the run goes on here in this next trend car at Indianapolis. But you can see out of turn 4, I'm starting to slip and slide, but not as much as that guy right there. That 17 is struggling so hard as this run goes on. Harvick now up into third as Larson duels it out in the background there with Daniel Suarez. As we go to the lead and lead the lap here in Indianapolis, and now we try to run away from that 17 of Chris Buescher and get our 3rd stage win of the season. It's been such an up and down rookie season. I talk about that quite literally every single episode at this point, because we've got so many moments of promise and hope, and then we got so many moments of nope, basically, where just things don't seem to work out. But here we are out in front in command of this Brickyard 400 now, as Chris Buescher was starting to fade into the background on lap 8, 5, 10, 6/10 of a second. Turn 2, you can see myself struggling a little bit right there on grip, having to be a little bit careful, but we would open the gap to about 9/10 of a second, so we certainly weren't pulling away enough to be in a really comfortable position, I guess you could say, but we were certainly increasing that gap. And now, only just a couple of laps ago, we cut straight to the final lap of stage 1, and you can see still slipping and sliding around the gap, now up towards the 2.5 between myself and Chris Buescher. But I was a little bit concerned by the increasing difficulty of handling in this number 21 car. We've had a few moments this season where as the run goes on, the worse the car drives, I start crashing. But I wasn't too concerned about crashing the car this time. I was just worried about my overall pace compared to the AI around me into the 2nd stage. Not here in stage 1, obviously, because we're coming through 3 out of turn 4 now, down this front straightaway, slipping around all over the place again on the exit of the corner, but down this front straightaway for the 3rd time this season in our rookie season, we are going to come through to win a stage here in the Brickyard 400. How about that, a stage win at Indianapolis Oval, as you see the rest of the field crossing the line. Top 10 going to be rounded out by Austin Cindric in that number 2 car there. So getting ready now to come into the pit lane, or maybe not actually, because we would actually determine that we were going to stay out for stage 2 and pit at the end of stage 2. And now you can see a lot of cars stay out, but as well at the same time a lot of cars come in. Basically the last back half of the grid comes in, led by Joey Logano, the likes of Priest, and as well Truex and Christopher Bell, all in that mix there of drivers that are pitting now as we were ready to go green for stage 2. So we're going to see if there's enough laps in stage 2 for those guys that pitted to get up to the front. I hope not, as the leader of this race now in control of the restart. When do I go? There wasn't a restart zone to work with, so I just waited for the lights to go green. We're back underway in stage 2, lap 16 of 55. You see Chris Buescher there at our right rear quarter panel in the rear view mirror, but we clear him down into turn 1. Kevin Harvick 3rd place, Elliott in 4th place. Now Larson faded a little bit in the stage. When I say faded, he still had a great result, but you can see myself struggling there to get the power down. Now Chris Buescher there, a lane higher as we exit turn 2. I'm going to slide up the track though and really struggle on the power down. Here goes Buescher with a little bit of a switchback now, as you see all the cars flying down this back straightaway, and there goes Buescher side by side drag racing here down this back straightaway for the lead position down into turn 3. Who is going to lift first? I think it was going to be Buescher. Actually, I fought into the center of the corner, but I'm going to give it up on the exit now, and Chris Buescher to the lead again of this race here at the Brickyard 400. We settle in behind him on the inside, but a really good opening lap in stage 2 from that number 17 Kevin Harvick there, as well as Chase Elliott just behind myself there. So side by side. So, of course, that is exactly what you like to see, is those two duking it out. But Elliott was clear pretty quick before we even hit turn 1, and I'm continuing to really struggle here at the beginning of the second stage, and you can see I'm facing the consequences of that. Now here goes Chase Elliott with help from Kyle Larson, who was able to get past Kevin Harvick, and they're going to both slip up my inside here. Elliott's easily going to get clear into turn 3, and Larson as well is going to follow through, as I am really starting to fall off all of a sudden now, as I still believe we have a top 10 car, but you can see in the background some of those guys on fresh tires are starting to close the gap and work their way through the field, as you continue to watch myself unfortunately just struggle on grip, to the point where Joey Logano now, as we're still running P4, but Logano is going to pass us on lap 21, and he was flying through the field. So I knew things hadn't quite gone the way I was expecting, anticipating here in Indianapolis. Now in lap 23 of 30 in the stage, nearly a run-in with Kyle Larson, who we had run back down, but he was having some moments there. Truex into the wall behind us because he had to check up for myself as well, and actually briefly ran to the back of me, but Ty Dillon was on the move as well on fresh tires. Here goes Logano though, up the inside of the 17 of Chris Buescher. This is for the lead of the race. It is very hard to pass on the inside on a green flag run, but that 22 had the fresh tires to be able to make that happen, but even then it still wasn't the easiest pass in the world. So on the green flag run, you want to be on somebody's right rear quarter panel if you're trying to complete a pass. Joey Hand in the race today had an oval actually in the top 10 now as well on fresh tires. You can see him to my outside. He would get clear down into turn 3. This was approaching the final 5 laps of the stage as we continue to kind of be on the struggle bus a little bit. Kurt Busch to my outside, and I'm just trying to fight as hard as I can to set myself up for the pit stop going into stage 3, and knowing the logic and silly strategy behind the AI, all the cars that pitted at the end of stage 1 are just going to come are not going to come in at the end of stage 2, will all come in and then blow their doors off in stage 3. Now you can see though fighting was not over between myself and some of these drivers on these fresh tires. We're back at it with Joey Hand. We would clear him down this back straightaway, back up into now P6. Kurt Busch, Ryan Preece, Martin Truex Jr. all just behind, but Kurt Busch actually would fight back to my inside momentarily after that happened there on lap 28 down into turn 3. He is going to clear us, and here comes Joey Hand again. So these battles are far from over here in Indy, but we stay clear for the time being, hoping that probably going to be the last fight I have to deal with here now as we come through to lap 30, final lap of stage 2, and you can see putting some pressure on the back of this 45 as we exit the corner. A little bit of a slip and slide there on the exit, a bit of a power slide even as we have that slipstream down this back straightaway. You can see the leaderboard up on the top, Preece, Truex, and then Stenhouse, the 2 juniors just behind us as well in 9th and 10th place, but Joey Logano, who went to fresh tires, is in command here on this final lap of stage 2. He is going to come through to get a second stage win of the season over Chris Buescher again, who has to settle for second place. So even on old tires at 17 manages P2, and here we are drag racing with Kurt Busch to the line. I was able to get to the outside of him and pass him there. As you can see, the rest of the top 10 was as well Preece again, as well as Truex and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. To my surprise, everybody would pit at the end of stage 2. Usually with the AI logic that never happens, but they actually all collectively decided to pit for once. But look at this stack up in the pit lane, an absolute mess here in the pits now. Preece is going to be able to overtake me, and so is Kurt Busch. Then we stomp on the brakes again, and I run into the back of the 41. Don't do any damage, thankfully, but we do get eventually into our pit box. You see the 22 of Logano wins the race off of the pit lane, so this makes his move to take fresh tires at the end of stage 1 look even better now that everybody's pitted. But we are fortunately at least able to exit the pit lane here in the 4th position. So row number 2 on the outside. It's been a calm race so far, but stage 3, Brickyard 400, Indy Oval, NASCAR's first time back in a few seasons. It could get a little bit hectic here. We're back underway. 21 laps remain overall here in the Brickyard 400. Down into turn 1, it was an absolutely miserable entrance for myself. I just did not get the car to hook up there on the entry, and we're struggling already on grip. They're trying to get these tires warmed up. It's just not hooked up. 3 wide behind us. Look at that. Kurt Busch with a brief look up the inside, and now we got more 3 wide. It's Truex, Chastain, as well as Stenhouse. 2 very aggressive drivers with Stenhouse as well as Ross Chastain. Martin Truex Jr., the complete opposite of these 2, but they continue 3 wide down this back straightaway. Who's going to lift? This is definitely not going to work for long here. Down into the corner, maybe some contact there between the 1 and the 19. Yes, there was, and now Chastain turns into the 47. We have a crash here out of turn 3. It's Cody Ware hard into the outside wall, and the caution is Al Byron spinning in the background. Many cars there involved as they all check up. What in the world has happened happened here in Indy. We take an immediate look, and it's Ross the Boss Chastain, well, doing Ross the Boss things. So he gets hit by the 19, goes up the track, and then he decides to hook it left into the side of the 47, and the 51 and the 15, two BRICKYARD teammates reacting to it, get involved and cause the crash. And oh, look up ahead there, Bubba Wallace with a hard hit as well. You can see him and Harvick right there come together. So very unfortunate for Bubba Wallace, an innocent bystander in all of that. Well then, I knew it was going to get crazy at some point. Thankfully it didn't happen up here, right? There you hear myself on the radio to the team. I am fortunately can say, hopefully I will have some actual crew chief radio transmissions coming soon, either in this season or going into season 2. I'm not sure quite when it is going to be yet, but nonetheless, focus back in on the task at hand. We're underway again in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the BRICKYARD 400. Joey Logano leads the way down into turn 1. Can he be beaten? Chase Elliott looking for his first ever BRICKYARD 400 victory. You would have expected him to maybe get one when they were at the road course, but he can still as well win it in the road course in real life and get that BRICKYARD 400. But you can see myself again losing positions on this restart. Where's the speed gone in this number 21 machine? Because we started P2, we went out front, we won stage 1, we kind of faded in stage 2, and it seems like we're fading even more in stage 3. Logano on the outside now as Elliott had some help from his Hendrick teammate of Kyle Larson. Those two didn't get quite along the greatest at this point in real life in the 2022 season, but they are sure getting along well and working together now. Chase Elliott to the lead after a big push from his teammate of Kyle Larson. Here we are on the back of the 41 of Ryan Preece. Preece desperately trying to find points to get himself up into the playoff picture, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go 3 wide to the inside of the 5 and the 41. Think better of it though on the entry of the corner back out of it, because we've seen how 3 wide has worked so far, although I hadn't actually seen why the caution had originally come out with the Cody Ware crash at this point as well, because it's all live here at this point. And for myself, I couldn't go and look at the replay unless I went into the pit lane. But Kurt Busch able to pass myself on the outside. Joey Logano falling like a rock with soup tied to its toes. I don't really know what I'm trying to say at this point. I always feel like I have something really weird out of left field to say in every single video at this point now, but we are still fighting with Logano, our Alliance teammate. Don't forget Chastain to my inside. I scraped the wall on the exit of turn 3. Chastain actually gives me no room to work with at all. He kind of runs into the side of me. Not quite sure what is up with that, but I'm going to settle in behind this one car because I want to make sure we get past this 22 before we start fighting. So giving Chastain a bit of a shot to the bumper, get him ahead of Joey Logano through turn 2. Only 13 laps to go at this point, keep in mind, as we're basically about to hit the stage 1 length, 12 laps. So we cleared Logano, and now it looks like maybe game on. No, because we would run down the 41 of Ryan Preece as well, who seems to be fading as this race goes on, as this final stage progresses, and both myself and Chastain pass the 41 in the same corner. Now it might be game on with this number 1 car. I think we have something for him, especially right here. Exit of turn 4, I'm able to just get up and go. No matter how much the car maybe has fallen off in this race, we can really get it going here side by side, trying to make sure there's no side drafting or anything with this 1 car to the now door of this one as we head down into turn 1. I talked about it earlier. In a green flag run, passing on the inside is very, very difficult. It is possible, we've proven that, but it's so difficult to actually make happen, especially as the car seems to be driving worse as the day goes on. You can see I cannot get past this 1 car. I'm gonna have to slide in behind that one and try to stay down this back stretch. So we settle in briefly, but I don't think it's over between myself and Ross the Boss. Here we go again. Exit of turn 4, 11 to go, and here we go to the inside again, basically just trying to do the exact same thing that we just did this time though, closing in on his door right away. Down into turn 1, still side by side, and Chastain not leaving us a lot of room to work with. He knows that it's very difficult to pass on this inside, so of course he's gonna make it difficult on myself here as we're running in 4th and 5th now as we nearly make contact on the exit of turn 2. Look how close it just got right there. Maybe a little bit of contact on his quarter panel down the back straightaway, but again, having to settle in, and he actually throws a block on me on the next run straightaway down into turn 1. All of a sudden, things are starting to kind of get a little bit heated here. Some contact with the one of Chastain on his left rear. I said, if you want to block me all the way to the inside wall just about, I mean, it's game on, Ross, here. Into turn 2, we still side by side, and maybe a little bit more contact down the exit of turn 2. Chastain into the barrier now as we continue down this back straightaway. We're about to see some beef take off here with Chastain Chastain. We know how difficult it can be to race around that Trackhouse driver. You've seen it in real life, and he is certainly putting it all on the line here to hold on to that 4th position in Indianapolis now as I continue to fight, and it's brought other cars into it with Priest and Truex as well as the 45 Monster Energy machine for 2311 Racing's Kurt Busch. But Chastain gets clear again, slips up again on the exit of turn 4, and I'm able to just get going. This time, however, we got such a good run that I think we're going to get clear and hopefully get away from this one. So pull to the inside, try to make sure I get clear at the start-finish line, pull back up. Here we go, officially clear into turn 1 with 8 laps to go. However, I am an idiot and I overdrove turn 1, and here comes the one of Chastain fighting back with the switchback move to the inside, and still game on with this one. Can I stick at his right rear? No, I cannot on the exit of turn 2, having to lift, slipping and sliding around. Chastain again back up into P4 as we would be all over him again. Coming to 7 laps to go to the inside. I was not done fighting this guy with Ross Chastain. I mean, I could have given up this battle, but I didn't want to give it up with him. He's a fun driver to battle with when it's clean for the most part here. Now as we continue in these final 7 laps to scrap it out, but I really wanted to get this move done and over with and you know, be on my day, because I think I have more speed than this one car. I just can't make the pass happen. And again, Chastain holds on. Ryan Preece just behind myself, and at this point getting a little bit frustrated, that's for sure. 6 laps to go, catching him off guard a little bit. A move up the inside into turn 4, not on the exit of turn 4, nearly running into him. A little bit of contact right there, leaning on each other's doors as we continue to try and side drive, pull him backwards. Not going to be enough, so I settle in again behind this one machine. I swear it's been like all stage long since the restart, at least, that we've been battling with this guy. Down into turn 1 with 5 laps to go, and up the inside again because he wasn't leaving the door open to get to his outside, so I, well, obviously can't get there. So we are forced to try this inside battle. Contact again on the door of the one. We just continue to go at it. Like I said, frustration is definitely building, the tension's building. We continue down into turn 3, drag racing here for the position. I was trying way too hard to get this pass done, and I just genuinely couldn't do it. You can see it right there. I'm overdriving the corner at this point, just trying to make it happen, but I was surprised by how well an AI was holding on my outside door. Nearly even here on the exit of turn 4, into the side of the one, sideways we go. We make a tremendous save earlier in the season. I guarantee I would have put that head on into the pit wall, and up and over I would have went just about now. Chastain holds on, his teammate Suarez follows through, and the damage is done. We've given up several positions there, and now we're into the bottom half of the top 10 as Ryan Blaney slips through as well, so that puts us in about P11 or so. Logano, what in the world's going on there? That 22 still struggling quite heavily, but now, you know, as frustrating as that battle was with the one car of Chastain, at least we're not near him anymore, and we can kind of cool down, but you can see easily passing the 22. Look how much I've been having to wheel this car around this circuit. It's absolutely fantastic, like I said, to make some laps here, but, you know, we were continuing to still show speed, trying to make up for the damage done now, and passing the 42 of Ty Dillon, who's been having a very strong season, unlike real life in 2022, and he very well could end up in a good ride in the 2023 season, a part of our storyline now. But you can see myself again passing Kurt Busch. This would put us back up another position here, closer to Ryan Blaney. White flag in the air. P8 going for P7. Chase Elliott has dominated this final stage. He's been untouchable. Chris Buescher has been runner-up in stage 1 to myself, stage 2 to Joey Logano, and it looks like he's going to be runner-up in the final stage of stage 3 to now Chase Elliott, who has 3 wins on the season, tied for the most with Kyle Larson, but it looks like he's about to break that and make it 4 wins, set himself atop of everybody with the most wins on the season here momentarily. If he can hold off that number 17, we might have one shot to get Ryan Blaney on the exit of turn 4 if he slips up a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. Chase Elliott down the front straightaway with pressure from Buescher. It's not going to be enough from the 17. Chase Elliott is a Brickyard 400 winner at the Indianapolis Oval in 2022. Larson in 3rd over Chastain. You see myself passing the 12 on the outside to the line, and we managed to take the position. Not at all thrilled, of course, post-race with that one of Chastain. We had a fun battle, you know, looking back at it, but in the moment I was a little bit aggravated with this one car, and you're certainly going to see myself just kind of show my displeasure. We don't need to go and wreck them under the, or after the race, you know, there's no reason or need to do that, but certainly going at him a little bit there, just saying, hey, wasn't a huge fan of how you raced me here today, although, I mean, at the end of the day, you look at it, Chastain never really did anything wrong. But P7 here is the finishing position, as you'll see it scrolling across the top of your screen in this Brickyard 400. You will now see as well the point standings there. Larson is still at the top of the board. He actually extended his gap to Ryan Blaney here today, so he's looking pretty good. But you see over on the right side of the screen, Truex Bell, the guys that don't have wins, how good they are. And we're 41 points above the cut line. Busher now 24 to the good, as Cindric is knocked out of the playoff top 16. 11 points out he is over Briscoe, Harvick, Gilliland, Kozlowski, Dylan, Haley, and McDowell, the top 24. Notable is Ryan Preece now 108 points out. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. In the next one, we are headed to the same venue, Brickyard or Indianapolis, and we are going to the road course, where I think we could be in for a little bit of chaos there. I've never done AI at the Indy road course, so I actually don't know how it's going to go, but we'll wait and see. I'm sure I'll post a snippet before the episode comes out on my community post down below. You can as well comment what you thought about the episode, and make sure to like and subscribe as well. Those would all be very appreciated. Share the video. That would also help a lot. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.